A very good evening to all of you. Our discussion topic today would be understanding how to improve your speaking skills as was requested in the last session. Now, the most important thing is whenever you are appearing for your interview, what is required? First is the most important thing is confidence. But how would this confidence come? That's again an important question. So, this confidence comes once you know the subject matter, so you have the apt knowledge, you have command over your subject, and that is the way through which you get confidence. The second important confidence is when I say confidence to speak. Now, when I say confidence to speak, how would you develop confidence to speak? Confidence to speak would come naturally when you are sound at grammar. So once you are good at English, you are good at English grammar without any mistakes, you would develop that confidence to speak well. What could be the techniques which could be adopted to use or to actually refine your skills for speaking fluently or speaking without disruptions? So let's talk about some of those common methods. A most common method that you might heard from your colleagues or from your peer group is speak in front of mirror. Speak in front of mirror is one of the common techniques that we say. But I would say there is another good technique that you can rehearse is whatever thing you are very interested in. It could be any movie, it could be any documentary, any channel that you like, which is purely English. Okay, so go to that English video or English content or English news, editorial, documentary, whatsoever it is, and listen that. Now, once you listen, just pause and try to think by yourself. Now, once you have given that a thought, try to speak yourself and frame out the difference that was when you spoke versus when the documentary was running. This difference would help you identify the areas where you need to improve. And this would also give you a background how to focus on grammar, how to improve your grammar skills. The next important thing is usually when we are conversing in a email or in a written means, we do not use contractions. However, while we are verbally saying, we do use contractions and those make the language much more impressive. So let's say I will, I can say I'll. Okay, so that's one of the ways through which you can actually have contractions which could be used. The next important thing that I would recommend here is read a lot. More you read, the better command you develop. Once you start reading, you would understand what are the shortcomings that you face and what are the areas that are actually challenging for you. Now, once you read any newspaper, any article, any editorial, any documentary that you like, try to absorb it, comprehend it, and then speak it in your own words. Now, you can speak it in front of your family, in front of your colleagues, and that is one of the ways to develop confidence. Sometimes it so happens you can speak very abruptly in front of a mirror, but when 10 people in an interview board are sitting around, you would actually hesitate or start shivering. You don't know how to address the crowd. To avoid that, I would recommend when you are in your school, when you are in your college, take part in varied activities. So take chance to speak. It could be in the form of extempore, in the form of debate, in the form of any other presentations, poster presentations, conferences, where you get a platform to speak. Now, once you get a platform to speak, try to take your stand. This could be against the topic, for the topic, it could be just hosting an event, organizing an event, whatsoever it comes. Just take a chance and try to improve. Definitely, the first few instances would not be that great, but slowly as you proceed, you would get more confidence and you would be able to present yourself in a much more refined, systematic manner. I hope this was meaningful. Now, in the meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to post those in the comment section. I'll be happy to take those first. The next important thing in an interview is the interview panel. Now, since you are facing the interview panel, the panel could sometimes try to ask questions that could challenge your knowledge, that could reason why you did this, and all those kind of questions that you are pretty familiar with. You already know these could be the probable questions that could be asked. So make sure that you have a well prepared mental structure, what to address and how to address. Okay, the next important way to gain confidence while you are speaking is try to imitate any of the famous personalities that you consider is good at speaking. So let's say if you want to be a politician, you can try to imitate a politician. If there can be a scenario where you want to be looking for a research paper to be published, so try to see how people present their researches at various conferences, and that could actually help you understand what to do and how to do. Okay, the next major thing that you must take for an interview is your commitment. Now, since you got a chance to represent yourself in the interview, that thing itself should bring in more confidence in you. Despite the fact that the interview panel might dig you and might force you to get nervous, despite of all that, you should not forget that you have made it till the point of interview, and therefore you can succeed further in the interview. The next important thing, the most important I would say, is to be honest. If you are not able to address anything, be very frank, accept it. You can directly accept that I would try to improve, I would try to develop or refine these skills. Sometimes it so happens, even in the PhD interviews or the entrance interviews, that students are not very confident about how to present the stuff, what to do, what not to do. So it is a good idea to genuinely accept your shortcomings and not try to boost that I am an expert. So, accepting shortcoming is another good way. It's not that you have to be highly fluent while you are speaking in an interview. Everyone in the panel understands that you are facing the interview, and probably that could be a reason for your nervousness, but they would definitely understand that how receptive you are in terms of accepting your mistakes, in terms of being honest to what you are, in terms of taking a initiative to improve yourself, to actually refine yourself, and that all matters a lot. A lot of people would say that if you are able to speak fluently, then there is no way you can stop an interview. Definitely not. Even if you keep on speaking and you speak irrelevant stuff, then the interview panel can easily make out that the content that you are speaking is not to the mark and you are speaking something which is besides the topic. So, it is very important to have a good subject knowledge, to have a good command over what you want to speak, what topic you want to initiate for discussion. If there is a topic that pops up which is away from your subject area or you are not well versed in it, you can genuinely accept that probably this is the topic. Let's say if there is a question on Indochina dispute. Now, probably you are a student of political science who has very good interest in political scenarios, why these disputes keep on arising, what are the other disputes, what were the previous disputes, the historic background. But probably you are not good at geographical points that what are the exact locations where the dispute arose, what were the specific spatial things that need to be taken into account, then you can genuinely take those and address to the interview panel that probably that is the segment that we won't touch in our discussion, and I'm sound at only the political constructs of it. So let's discuss or move forward take forward our discussion only on the political aspects. So that's one of the good ways to actually take your discussion forward, and try to create a atmosphere where the interview actually runs longer. The longer the interview, it gives you confidence. You might ask why. Now the simple reason here is, let's say there was first question. Now first question you were not able to answer, so you get nervous. Now there comes second question. Second question again you are not able to answer, you get super nervous. Third question you know, but since for the previous two you were hesitant, you got nervous, so probably despite the fact you know, the third answer would be average. You won't be able to address it to full extent because you had a previous nervousness that has cropped into the mind. So probably if there are question 4, question 5, then you would get a confidence that okay, despite I did mistakes in the first two, or I was nervous in the first two, I was able to control the situation by the third question, and these fourth and fifth question I will take it to the very depth, and that would give you the confidence to actually present yourself by the last question. And not only you, but it would also give confidence to the interview panel that yes, you are sound in your subject, you know the criteria, but for some reasons you were not able to perform very good in the beginning. Also, you might say a reverse phenomena can take place. So when I say the first two questions went excellent, by the third question you were not able to answer, fourth question again you got nervous. So in that case, should the interview go or should you stop the interview? Then again, means you are not in a position to stop the interview, or you should prompt the interview to be closed. So what is required at this point? At this point, we understand in psychological terms that it is mainly the primacy and the recency effect which matters. That means how you presented yourself in the very beginning and how you presented yourself towards the very end makes a significant difference in the terms of interview. So make sure that even if you are not able to perform well for few questions, try to create a scenario where you take the discussion to a topic that you know, or divert the discussion to a topic that you know, and you have a closing where you are able to address the panel in a very confident way and in a way where you are well sound with your content. There is a question from Deepak: are hand gestures good in interview or in any school viva? Definitely yes, Deepak. It shows how confident you are with your hand gestures, with your eye to eye contact. Again, the examiner can understand. So let's say if I ask you a question in school viva, and not only in school viva but general classroom, what would happen if you don't know the answer? You won't have an eye contact with me. And that's one of the reasons the examiner would get to know that you are not confident with it, or either you don't know that topic. So making hand gestures, making eye contact, making your facial confidence are some of the ways that would actually ensure how confident you are and how receptive you are in the interview. Even sometimes it so happens that if the examiner brings in a difficult vocabulary, you are not able to answer those questions. In those scenario, you are not able to understand what the person was actually saying. So in those scenario, you can simply request the panel that kindly clarify or kindly repeat it again. And that's the way to have confidence in the panel itself. Okay, so those were some of the important tips that we have considered for today. Definitely we would be meeting Tuesdays and Saturdays with our live session. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, any doubt, feel free to raise those, and those looking for personal one-on-one consultation can definitely feel free and drop an email to me at manishika.jain@mindspreadsolutions.com. The email ID is available in the chat box. Wish you very good luck for your upcoming examinations and interviews. We will be taking many interesting sessions in the next lectures. Have a wonderful day ahead.